Billionaire CEO Julian Stone walked into his penthouse a day early and felt his heart stop when he saw his wife using his elderly adoptive mother as a human footrest. The private elevator had opened silently, and Julian, holding a bouquet of rare orchids he had flown in from Singapore, expected to find his family preparing for the evening gala. Instead, he found a scene that made him question the last 3 years of his marriage. His mother, Maria, a woman who had worked 2 factory jobs to keep him off the streets, was on her hands and knees scrubbing a red wine stain out of the white Persian rug. Standing over her was his wife, Tiffany, filming a video for her social media, her designer heel resting casually on Maria's frail shoulder to steady herself. Look at this mess," Tiffany said to her phone camera, laughing cruelly. "It's so hard to find good help these days. Even when you give them charity, they're just clumsy." Julian stepped back into the shadows of the hallway, his blood boiling, his hand crushing the expensive flowers. He watched as Maria looked up, tears in her eyes, and whispered, "Tiffany, please, my back hurts. Can I just stand up?" Tiffany kicked Maria's hand away from the rug. "You'll stand up when the stain is gone, Maria. You're lucky I let you live in this penthouse. To my followers, you're just the cleaning lady, so act like one. And don't you dare tell Julian about this. He's too busy running an empire to care about an old woman's complaints." That was the moment Julian realized he wasn't married to a partner. He was sleeping next to a monster. He didn't storm in. He didn't scream. He did something far more dangerous. He went back down the elevator, checked into the hotel across the street, and opened the smart home app on his phone that Tiffany didn't know controlled the hidden security cameras in every room. For the next 24 hours, Julian watched the horror show unfold. He saw Tiffany force Maria to eat leftovers in the pantry while she dined on steak. He saw Tiffany throw away the medication Julian had bought for Maria's heart condition, replacing the pills with sugar tablets and laughing on the phone to her friend, saying, "If the old hag gets sick, maybe Julian will finally put her in a home. She ruins the aesthetic of my life." The cruelty was systematic, calculated, and absolutely evil. Tiffany wasn't just being mean, she was trying to erase Maria's existence. But the video that broke him completely was from that morning. Maria was looking at a photo of Julian smiling, and Tiffany ripped it from her hands. "Stop pretending you're his mother," Tiffany spat. "You adopted him. You're a charity case he feels guilty about. Once I'm pregnant, we won't need a fake grandmother around." If this story of betrayal makes you want to see instant karma, hit that subscribe button right now, because Julian is about to deliver a masterclass in revenge that Tiffany will never recover from. The night of the charity gala arrived. Tiffany wore a $50,000 dress, beaming as she walked the red carpet, telling reporters how much she loved philanthropy. She didn't know that Julian had arrived 2 hours early to speak with the event production team. As they sat at the VIP table, the lights dimmed for Julian's speech. Tiffany squeezed his hand, whispering, "Don't forget to mention my foundation work, darling." Julian walked to the podium, his face like stone. "Tonight," Julian's voice boomed through the speakers, "we are here to talk about transparency. We often look at the shiny exterior of a person and miss the rot inside." Tiffany smiled and clapped, thinking he was being philosophical. "I want to show you a video about the person who truly runs my household." Tiffany puffed up her chest, expecting a tribute video to her. Instead, the giant IMAX-sized screen behind him turned on, playing the footage from the penthouse kitchen in 4K resolution. The sound of Tiffany laughing while kicking Maria's hand echoed through the silent ballroom. "You're lucky I let you live here. You're just the cleaning lady." The crowd gasped. A collective murmur of disgust rippled through the room. Tiffany's face went pale white. She stood up, knocking over her chair. "Julian, turn it off. It's fake. It's edited." But the video cut to the next clip, Tiffany flushing Maria's heart medication down the toilet. "She ruins the aesthetic of my life." The investors, the press, and Tiffany's own friends stared at her in horror. Julian looked down at her from the stage, his eyes cold. "You wanted to be an influencer, Tiffany? Well, now you're famous. The whole world knows exactly who you are." Tiffany tried to run to the stage, crying fake tears. "I was stressed. I didn't mean it. Julian, baby, please." Julian leaned into the mic. "Don't call me baby, and don't go back to the penthouse. The locks have already been changed. My security team has packed your bags, only the items you paid for yourself, which, according to my accountants, is absolutely nothing." Tiffany screamed as security guards, the same ones she used to ignore, dragged her out of the ballroom while the paparazzi's flashes went off like fireworks, capturing her shame for the morning papers. Julian didn't even watch her leave. He walked down the stairs to the back of the room where Maria was waiting. He had flown in her best friend from their old neighborhood and bought her a gown fit for a queen. He took the microphone one last time. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the trash I brought in earlier. Please meet the real Mrs. Stone, my mother." The standing ovation was deafening. Maria cried, not from pain, but from pride. A year later, Tiffany was living in a studio apartment, canceled by every brand, her reputation permanently destroyed by the video that had 50 million views online. Julian and Maria, however, had opened a shelter for the elderly, proving that money can build a house, but only love can build a home. And the lesson was clear. Never mistreat the person who raised the lion, or you might just get eaten. Subscribe for more stories where justice is always served.